Jeff Heidtmann says he was in the right place at the right time last January. A Southold man is alive today because of that. This is their story.
So which I had to walk to the woodpile that I have on the side of the house. At that time, when I walked into the backyard, is when I heard a different noise. Just didn't know what it was.
That noise he heard was the sound of his neighbor, Robert Fry, moaning for help. Mr. Fry had gone to the dock near his home to make sure the de-icing machines there were working, but he had fallen into the freezing canal minutes before. That cold January day, Mr. Heidtmann pushed past the fence in his yard and walked down the snowy steps of the canal he and his neighbors share. The moans got louder.
You know, I'm looking around, I couldn't see anybody, and that's when I saw his hand coming up on the dock. And it was kind of, holy smokes, now what do I do? There's somebody in the water, there's nobody around, it's quiet as can be. And he was in the water up to his neck holding on to the dock.
He was already hypothermic when Mr. Heidtmann found him.
You know, it's cold water, it's when you're in there for a long time, especially elderly, I'm sure, you know, you start getting AMS, altered mental status, you know, and you start to decrease rapidly.
Because the water takes your temperature away a lot faster than the air does. So your body cools much more quickly, and so you can get into a state where you become lethargic, you become down to unconsciousness, where your heart goes into ventricular fibrillation, and then that's that, and that can happen very quickly.
I thought there's no time to go get help. He was blue, his hands were all cut up from holding onto the dock. Who knows how long he was in there. His eye, he wasn't there. Like, you could see it. It was like a blank face. But he was holding on.
Mr. Heidtmann made his way down to the water and wrapped his leg around a pole. He grabbed Mr. Fry by the belt and pulled him onto the dock. But this rescue was only half done. Mr. Heidtmann had to get Mr. Fry back inside, somewhere warm. That meant hoisting him over his shoulder and carrying him up the slippery, snowy hill.
The back door was locked. So I left him on the back porch and ran around into the garage and kind of busted in the garage door and scared the heck out of his wife. You know, it's like, easy, you know, your husband fell into the canal, and I got him out back. We need to get him in the house, and you need to call 911. And she was on it.
The EMTs rushed Mr. Fry to the hospital. They would later say that his body temperature had plummeted to 88.7 degrees, almost 10 degrees below normal, and well into the range of hypothermia. Had Jeff not been there, they say, things could have been a lot worse.
That was everything. You know, what we did was supportive care. Getting him, hearing him, getting down there, getting him out of the water, getting him into the house, all of that was just critical. Without that, the outcome could have been very, very different, much more tragic.
But speaking to reporters last year, Mr. Fry said he was grateful that Jeff was there to save his life. When they met last January, days after the rescue, Mr. Fry had a chance to tell him that, in person.
Good to see you. How are you?
I know you.
You don't know nothing.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You're a good man.
You saved my life.
Well, I'm glad I was around to see it.
Since this has all happened, it's kind of neat when he comes over, because my kids are young. He's almost like you know, another grandpa, if you would say. You know, they get a kick out of it. He comes over and sees them, and you know, it's not a lot, but when he does come, there's I don't know how you would say, it's a much better relationship. It's kind of neat. It's a newfound friend.